Woke New York City judges are cutting dangerous perps. You're out of here. You can go home. They're cutting them loose at an alarming rate. And by alarming, I mean like upwards of 85% of the time. Almost all the time. They're just like, yep, see ya. Bye. Let's get into it. Here we go. We've all seen the violent crime videos. I mean, we've seen Governor Hochul sending not only her own police officers, but National Guard, New York City into the subway system and out onto the streets because it's become so violent. Well, did it all of a sudden just become really violent? Did New York City just all of a sudden become really violent? No. It's because of knuckleheaded judges like this who don't believe in bail. They believe in bail reform, which is let everybody out. It's all good. No cash bail. It's okay. Nobody has money. It's all right. No skin in the game. It'll work out fine. And here we are. So we're going to take a look right now at what do the numbers actually look like? These are the worst and wokest judges in New York City when it comes to protecting the public from violent suspects. These criminal court jurists set violent offenders loose ahead of trial. They believe that everybody should just be allowed to go home, no matter how bad it is. He wants to see his mommy. He's sliced somebody's head near off, right? It's okay. It's all right. I mean, justice reform. Innocent until proven guilty, right? Yeah. Offenders loose ahead of trial at an astounding rate, with some springing alleged perps more than 80% of the time. According to a post-analysis of pretrial detention from the Court of Office Administration, the analysis looked at 96 judges who were handed a minimum of 25 cases, this is the criteria, in the first 6 months of 2024, where the top charge at arraignment was a violent felony. Nearly all such cases are still bail eligible, even after radical criminal reforms were enacted by Albany lawmakers in 2019. Big blue states, big blue cities, and big blue states, they have gone after this whole concept of justice reform, meaning you don't really hold anybody accountable for their actions. You say you do, you pretend that they do, but you're really not. You're just, let them out. And you know how we know this? How many of these criminals go right back out of the streets and reoffend again? That's how we know this, right? One of the city's most egregious practitioners of this junk system is Queens Criminal Court Judge Wanda Leotra. Is that correct? Lecitra, who only set bail 5 times and had no suspects held in pretrial detention in 34 violent felony cases spanning January to June 24. Lecitra even set loose a feces fiend. Oh, do you remember this guy? Accused of smashing poop into a strap hanger's face on a subway platform, who cursed her out in court to boot. Let's take a look at that one. We got to take a look at this one. Poop attack perp told cops shit happens before being released without bail. And then on his parting way out of court, you know what he said to the judge? You bitch. Huh. Nothing says justice reform like you bitch. That's not nice. It's a judge who just let you go. You. Like, no. You're going to stay in jail for a lot longer, we're going to work that out. Would you like to amend your statement? Frank Ibrokwa, 37, was busted Monday at his homeless shelter shocker, he's a homeless shelter dude. In connection to the revolting February 21st attack. Upon arrest, he made light of the attack, quipping to cops, shit happens. This is a shitty situation, haha, he said. Bronx Assistant District Attorney Grace Phillips said during Ibrokwa's arraignment. He thought it would be a good idea to literally shove poop in somebody's face that was just trying to ride the metro, right? Ride the metro. But, this guy, he's a lowlife, and that's what he gets. And you know what? In New York City, they're not going to hold anybody accountable. And they wonder why the violence keeps going. All right. Let's look at a few of these judges. Look at this one. We got Wandra. Okay, she's the one that just let everybody go, including Mr. Poop Man. Total cases, 34. Total freed, 29%. Freed, 85%. Let them go. We got Valentina Morales, 101 cases, 83% gone. Just, you guys just be good, better human beings. This whole notion of not having any skin in the game, meaning if they dip out, there's no repercussions, or there are repercussions. But if you don't have any bail, and this whole notion of if you can't pay it, then that's racist, because so many folks that are brown and black can't afford to pay. Well, I mean, how's that working out? How's that working out? Are the streets of San Francisco, are the streets of Seattle, are the streets of New York that we're talking about here, are they safer because of this? How about Chicago? No cash bail in Chicago. How about that? I mean, are things getting better? Is it getting better? Is it doing better? No. We're reading stories about it on the daily. Got another guy here. We got Eugene Bowman. Total cases, 113. Total freed, 87%. Freed, 77%. Almost 8 out of 10. That's almost exclusively, yep, you can go home. You can go home. Remember when you got like jailed overnight, for sometimes, multiple nights for a DUI back in the day for just ridiculous stuff. And you're like, well, this is a little heavy handed. Well, now we've swung quite the opposite. And now you've got these knuckleheads here who, this is what they said they're going to do. Their justice reform. It's like, let's go Brandon Johnson. He's a progressive. He's on board with this. Our guy in Chicago, he's on board with this. And then you get upset with them when they do exactly what they said they were going to do. Now, quick update here. ABC7 Chicago given exclusive access. No, that's not it. Here it is. Nope, here it is. Here it is. I was going to do this one, but then I realized there's not much of a story there. GOP lawmaker takes a victory lap after the Dem mayor, let's go Brandon Johnson, reportedly agrees to donate secret gifts to charities. Remember that secret closet of gifts that he had that he said weren't to him, but they're like all to him? And he said, those aren't mine. Those were gifted to me on behalf of the city. And you're like, what? And then they got called out for having a closet full of gifts. And he's like, those aren't mine. Like, no, those are yours, but you weren't very transparent about it, just like you haven't been very transparent about so much stuff. I think in his case, a lot of times it's because he's just not smart enough to realize what's going on. Who's on first? What's happening, guys? What are we doing here? So in New York City, you got just a bunch of folks on the bench who think, greatest thing ever we can do for the people of New York City is just to let a bunch of criminals run around and we'll just see what happens. I mean, this is justice reform. This is really getting somewhere. This is progressive. Oh, I like how this progress is going. And you're like, no. Judges like that, we call them judges who drink the Kool-Aid, because instead of them focusing on the actual situation, incarcerating people, take them off the streets. Instead of doing that, they're drinking the Kool-Aid of bail reform, one veteran criminal defense attorney who has repeatedly gone before Lecitra told the Post. Such jurists' broad ideological slide toward opposing incarceration is endangering New Yorkers' lives, said Hannah E. Myers, a fellow and director of policing and public safety at the Manhattan Institute. I mean, this kind of goes without saying. And yet it's one of those things where I think the Democrats really honestly believe they've got something here. And it's one of those deals where if we can just do it a few more times, this is going to work out, because they're getting all this feedback. And hey, that guy you let loose, he raped another woman. Oh, good Lord. I didn't realize he was going to do that. I had no idea. Somebody bring him back in front of me. Young man, you need to do better. No more raping for you. Right? I mean, they treat these people like children, and the guys are like, okay, all right, I got at least 2 or 3 more in me, and, maybe I'll actually have to do some time before Miss Knucklehead up there decides that maybe this whole justice reform thing isn't going in the right. They're never going to do that, because then they'd have to admit that they're wrong, right? So this is just what we're stuck with, and this is what people in big blue states and big blue liberal cities, this is what they're doing. No wonder you got a bunch of people running around committing crimes. because there's no reason they shouldn't. Crime does pay, and there's no repercussions. There's nobody that's going to hold them accountable unless they do something really, really egregious, right? Like kill somebody, like murder somebody. Guess we got to hold you on bail. Sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Many of these judges are letting out dangerous people, even when they know that those people are dangerous. They're failing to be responsible in those situations and the safety of others. So often you see somebody who's already got 2, 3, 4 cases lined up back to back to back. And the judge, I mean, they can see what charges these folks have. They can see those charges. And yet they're like, you know what? This is what we're doing. This is justice reform. This is what we believe in. We really believe in giving people a second, third, 45th chance, right? I mean, how many of these folks do you see that have multiple convictions? They're convicted felons all day long, and they're just doing the same crap in and out. Literally, this guy here, shoving shit into somebody's face that's literally just trying to get to work or home from work. Somebody riding the metro, right? Just trying to get to where they need to be to make a living. Judges have bemoaned that their hands are held when deciding to set bail, citing how New York is the only state where jurists can only weigh whether a person will return to court with zero consideration for whether they're a public safety threat. Maybe you should change that. Maybe, just maybe, you should change that. You know where you don't see a lot of these knuckleheads just roaming around society, allowed to just, do their criminal behavior, rampant? You know where you don't see that? Republican states, big Republican cities. Yeah, they're still, some of them are still putting people to death chamber. You killed somebody. You're going to die. In these other, blue cities and blue states, they're like, you killed somebody? Well, we believe in you. We believe that you can be a good human being again. Yet criminal defense attorney Thomas Kerniff, who ran as a Republican against Alvin Bragg for Manhattan District Attorney, stressed there are many ways to justify holding a violent perp on bail. These folks just don't want to. They truly believe that this is the way to go. It's ideology that has gone sideways, because the end result is you let a criminal go back out on the streets. What are they going to do? Yeah. Are they going to go to church? Are they going to pray for their soul? I don't think so. Going to go right back out and do what they're doing. So totally gaming the system. And this is why you've got, crime issues of people like this dude here. There's some poop. Enjoy. Even when you can't rely on the public safety criteria because of the dysfunctional laws in the state, chances are you can get there some other way, is what this guy is saying. You can figure it out if you want to keep somebody that you think is a threat to public safety. But that's not, in New York City, that is not even a consideration. They don't go down that road. Judges have discretion in making bail decisions in accordance with the law and based solely on an individualized assessment of a defendant's risk of flight. Are they going to run? Are they going to take off? That's all it's not the violence that they've, allegedly perpetrated against somebody else. It's, are they a flight risk? If you've committed a major crime, you're a flight risk, because you might do some time and you might think to yourself, you know what? Maybe I don't want to do any time in New York City. Maybe I don't want to be in jail with Diddy. I don't want to go see Diddy. Oh, what's Diddy doing? How's Diddy? Not hearing a ton about Diddy right now, are we? Yeah, that storyline is kind of, we're waiting for trial. If it gets to there, what do you think will happen on that one? Does he get put on trial? Does Diddy testify at trial? Who knows? None of the following judges responded to requests for comment. Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. Here's Judge Robert Rosenthal, 63. Let's focus on him. Manhattan Criminal Court. Sprung violent robber who went on sexual assault spree the next day. Elected to Manhattan Civil Court in 2019, but assigned to criminal court, Rosenthal let perps go without bail in the first half of 2024, a staggering 67% of the time. It's okay. Get out there, Tiger. Do it again. Guess what? Tiger listened. Then in January, the one-time de Blasio appointee beheadlines after he cut loose on supervised release Jason Ayala. who had been charged with violent robbery charges. The very next day, Ayala, 37, allegedly went on a twisted sexual assault rampage, abusing a 12-year-old, 14-year-old, and 3 women in the span of 30 minutes. Case is still pending. All the arrests were for forcibly touching intimate parts and endangerment. He shouldn't have been out on the streets the next day doing that. And this is police commissioner. No kidding. No kidding. This is a loser that belongs in jail. If you don't have any bail, tough luck. You're going to have to get incarcerated. Away you go there. Oh, and in the meantime, you're not out on the streets going on a twisted sexual assault rampage. The mother of the 14-year-old victim was outraged by Rosenthal's record. It's concerning because it doesn't seem like the judge is for the innocent people. He's for the person doing the crime. And that is, in a nutshell, that's who they're covering. They're covering the criminals. How does that make sense? How can you take an oath as a judge and let these people out and not recognize that the very people you're letting out are committing more crimes, like the one I just read with the twisted sexual assault rampage? How do you justify doing that? How was your day at work, honey? Oh, it was good. I let everybody go. Yeah, I really think that they're really going to get the hang of this justice thing. And, I believe they're for the most part good people. Even that man who murdered another person. Oh, yeah, he's tippy top of my list. That guy has potential. He's really going to get out there and, pave the way for justice. So with the statistics that we're looking at here, 85%, 85, 82, 80, 77, 77, 76, 72, 69, 67. You got a whole bunch of criminals just roaming around. So if you're okay with that, I'd say keep going this direction with the judges because it seems to be working out just fine, right? If you're at all concerned about your public safety, you want to go in a little different direction. It doesn't seem like that's happening in New York City, does it? No, everything just keeps going the wrong way. And people are like, yeah, New York City, interesting. It's so diverse here. They got good food. It's great. Super high housing though, right? I mean, it's just rinse, repeat, and you're left with, okay, all right, this just seems to be headed in the right direction, mostly-ish, not. Now, for a crime, this is why the whole justice reform thing does not work. It's a total loser. Because you got to keep people safe. Get the lunatics off the street. Get the people shoving poop, literally poop, in some innocent person's face. Get them off the street. If they can't pay bail, screw them. I don't care. Incarcerate them. I don't care. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Love to have you subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.